It's your boy Zappa, King of the Giant Robots, and welcome to your tactical forecast for December 2020. We will begin with our Let's Plays starting Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Hardcore Mecha will continue on those 3 days until December 13th, at which point it will be replaced with Robot Wars 64 on the regular, not alternating. For Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we will have Super Robot Wars 2G up until December 16th, which will be replaced by Super Robot Wars Neo. We are reading from a script which appears to be half machine translated and half literally translated. So at times I will have to stop and translate something myself from my phone. The video may jump. There may be a lull in gameplay and silence as I translate something with my phone, but such is the curse of me being a Let's Player as well as trying to fill out the Akarasu Week. On Fridays, every Friday, barring the 25th, Zappa versus the Shelf as well as Pleb will continue. Pleb is our series, for those of you new here, which are more generic and scattered model kit reviews. They won't always be Bandai. Sometimes it's Kodo, sometimes Motoroid, sometimes the weird SD Tenjin that I find out in the wild, as well as maybe a Master Grade. Something that's not part of, we shift over to Zappa versus the Shelf, wherein I take a section of my very large shelves and set those out in the style of a classic fighting game. Consider the originals that I did, wherein I almost literally ripped the background from Street Fighter 2 character selection until I made my own stuff. But that shelf will be my Iron-Blooded Orphan shelf. I do organize my shelves to the best of my ability with a sort of theme. The theme is mostly by series, but depending on how many or how few of something I have, we'll look at something like Round 2, a modified Round 2, which is Seed and G-Reco. I had exactly enough kits of that to make one spot, so those are together. The same was actually no, everything else had a consistent theme. Other shelves were entirely Universal Century. We had a shelf that is just G Gundam. We had a shelf that is just various Build Fighters and Friends is like how I like to say it. But the next will be Iron-Blooded Orphans, and I'm going to have to do some very interesting parsing out of what I have into an 8-man battle character selection. Something to that effect. I digress. Moving on, every Saturday at 3 p.m. will be your Saturday afternoon movie. It is my longer form Let's Plays, more so in RPGs that are not giant robots. I say that despite that we're playing Front Mission 3, but that game does not really fit the episodic or stage-based format that Super Robot Wars leans itself towards. So those currently three games, are Front Mission 3, Exit Fate, the RPG inspired by Suikoden 2 and other classic legendary RPGs, and Sailor Moon Another Story, which earlier this year got a new translation, and I had forgotten about for 20 years. As such, I will bring up the streaming. I attempt to stream at least once a week for 3 to 5 hours over at twitch.tv/Axis Communications and Entertainment. My ambition, my aim, my goal is to, at minimum, stream once on a Saturday. It will probably be earlier in the morning, somewhere around 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, to which I will play one of those 3 games, and the VOD, the recording for that stream, will go up the following Saturday. Rinse and repeat, with the exception of 26th. As such, we have our annual Parasite Eve playthrough. Once again, those of you new to the channel, in previous years I've done an actual speedrun to the best of my ability. I played the game entirely in Japanese because I own a copy. This year, tentatively, will be a casual race. Not any advanced speedrun tech going on. There's only so much tech you can really apply to Parasite Eve, and I know it exists, but we'll build it casual. Therefore, myself and another smaller channel, a friend that I've made through Parasite Eve and streaming, he and I will be casually racing, and as there are 6 in-game days of Parasite Eve, each day of that will be raced on its own merit. Once that day is complete, the timer is paused, the other player gets to finish theirs, the timer is paused, and then we will pick up the next day, and each of those in-game days will correspond to the real-life days, because Parasite Eve is a Christmas game that occurs on December 24th. So that will take up the 24th to the 30th, thus blocking out the 25th and 26th from any other videos, because it's part of the Christmas special. Perhaps, if we're lucky, we can coordinate streaming the final day of our race directly on our Twitch channels. And with that, that's your forecast for December. But I want to give y'all a little bit of a forecast for January. Small story. When I got my PC, I had to get this out of necessity. Of course, it was going to have to happen, but there was a push, a force. The world kind of blew up. And that stopped me from having access to the Queen of Space's computer for my recording setup, at which point I had to switch over to recording Robot Wars Combat 3 from my laptop, and that was not good, so I had to get me a PC. Had a good friend building. A good friend helped me build one, excuse me. Shout outs to the true King of Space, not the King of Giant Robots, that's me. The true King of Space, that's my boy. As such, when I got the new PC, I decided to, I don't know if you would call it a rebranding, but it was certainly a re-imaging. I did new background graphics for the Let's Plays, new header graphics for the channel, the new logo, the new ending graphic that I do appreciate those who do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. That graphic is a pun. Do you like Char? Subscribe. I redid all those graphics, and I think come January 1st, I will redo them again. As much as I like the work I put into the background, and I'll put that on screen here, it'll be a smaller version, that looks blurrier than I'm happy with. It looks like it's just old and busted and not very good, and I think it's time for a change. The ambition there was the green new type cycle frame light that came from the Axis shock in Char's counterattack, because it was a big shock to me and my YouTube career and having to redo everything. So I took that as a chance to re-image, and that graphic is what I try to portray as the Axis shock. You can kind of see in the bottom corner, it says established AC 2020. That's after Colony, ha ha ha, but also after my crisis of getting a new computer, after Computer, after insert beer brand name here, you get demonetized or reported if you say the name, so that which shall not be named. I want to go for new graphics. I want to do something cleaner. This background that you see here, I like. It works for certain things, but I want something more space in more of like a black and teal color. Just two simple colors that will frame the outsides of the screen for Let's Plays, for wallpaper, for the intros. I want to change the color of the ending graphic, the like Char sub. Originally that came in salmon pink. It is currently the olive green that is on the Zaku's original Zaku 2's original artwork. So I think I want to move to either goof blue or the lighter blue that is the Hygog. Hygog? Yeah, Hygog. I like that shade of blue, or the Momo Cat blue. I'm gonna do some recoloring, reconfiguring, and that will also affect some of the intros, some of the Let's Plays you'll see. After a date, those graphics may be out of date. It depends on between when I get them completed and when I implement them and when I record using them. So coming in January, the channel will have a slight makeover visually. I will try to stick with the green because I like how the green shows up on the channel on my phone. So we'll see how that plays out. Another quick preview of 2021. I will begin the All Super Robot Wars retrospective project. And this is why this is the take 2 of the forecast. I rambled on a bit too hard because it helped me talk out and think my plan. Ambitiously, on the 1st and 15th of every month, I'm going to release a retrospective of a Super Robot Wars game. I've got some notes here of stuff that I want to cover. I do want to go into as much information as I can dig up the original concept and production behind the first Super Robot Wars before we get into stuff like what characters show up in every game, what are the features of each game, what are the differences if that game has various re-releases or ports or deports or parallel ports, remakes, all those terms. I want to cover all those things, and while of course there's plenty of information you can go out there and look up, it's not always clear or easy to find, hey, what is the difference between Robot Wars 2 on the Famicom and the remake on the PlayStation? What is the difference between Robot Wars Alpha on PlayStation and Dreamcast? What is the difference between GameCube and XO? These are the mysteries. This is the information that I wish to convey to you. Those videos, as a retrospective video, will be accompanied by the other half of the project, which is playing the first stage of every Super Robot Wars game. This means I will play stage 1 of the original Game Boy, followed by stage 1 of the remake on PlayStation 3. And then when you get to Robot Wars 2, you've got 2 on Famicom, 2 on PlayStation, 2 on PlayStation the complete box, and then 2 as the Famicom Mini Game Boy Advance cartridge. Now, I believe when it comes to the Robot Wars complete box and the individual games of 2, 3, and EX, they may just be a case of this is a package deal. This is a single disc. Hopefully they're just the same, and recording them will only be like, oh, only need to play one, only need to release one. Now, the question I have for you, my viewers, is, when it comes to this project, specifically, not the rest of my Let's Plays, when it comes to this, would you like if there were the episodes with my commentary, my introduction, my outro, followed by the episode raw? No background. Well, actually, no, no background. I can turn the background off for the recording. I think I should. I think I should for posterity. There will be just the game. No intro, no outro, no background music, and it will be rendered without me talking. Would that be something good for historical purposes? I know there are Let's Players out there that do no commentary. I know there's Let's Players out there that do their commentary in post. There's even one that I follow that will release an episode of something with commentary, which he and a guest will talk shit about what's happening on screen because they're watching it in post, or they're watching the video file and talking, and the voice is done in post, and then he uploads the raw episode, no commentary. This is the feedback that I need from you, and I know generally those of you that are watching this are not inclined to comment, but this is something that I need, and I'm going to ask around as well. But that is the ambition that I have now that I am but two games away from having every proper Super Robot Wars game, and 10 games away from having every Super Robot Wars tangent game. Stay tuned for more giant robot antics, Let's Plays, and fake model reviews, and me rambling. Good night, Space Lord.